This lens is nearly 50 years old and is one of our favourites, which we use all of the time to shoot videos for this channel and also for our short films. In this video, we're going to be talking about why the Pentax Takumar 35mm lens is still one of the best vintage lenses out there and why you should consider getting one. Welcome to the Film Look. The Takumar 35mm was first introduced in 1959 and they made a few versions throughout the years. The one we have was manufactured in 1971 and it's called the Super Multi-Coated Takumar. We shoot everything on a Sony a7S Mark I in 1080. The camera is full frame, so we get all of that 35mm focal length. The lens has an M42 mount, so we have an M42 to EOS mount that connects to our Comlight adapter, which is EOS to Sony E mount. You can get an adapter that goes from the M42 mount to Sony E mount, but we already had these adapters lying around and they seem to work pretty well. We use the Takumar 35mm for our wide establishing shots, all the way to our medium shots and sometimes to our medium close-ups, but for that and our close-up shots, we switch lenses to our Helios 58mm. We do this because the 35mm on a full frame camera is quite wide, and when you start to get close to your actor, the shape of their face will look a little wider and start to look a little unnatural. This is just a personal preference, and shooting a close-up at 35mm can look quite cool depending on the look you're going for. What's good about switching between these two focal lengths is that they're very close to the cone of visual attention of the human eye. Time for a science lesson. A 35mm lens has a field of view of 64 degrees and a 58mm lens has a field of view of 41 degrees. So to obtain the same field of view as the human eye, which is 55 degrees, you need a lens which is 43mm. This is why a 35mm and a 50mm, or in our case a 58mm, looks so natural because it's roughly what we see in real life. There's a lot more science that goes into it, but I failed science in school so I don't really understand it, but I hope you get my point. The Takumar isn't the fastest lens with a maximum aperture of 3.5 and a minimum aperture of f/16. This is not really a problem for us as we do tend to shoot everything at 2.8 or f4 for most things. It helps to keep your shots in focus and you still get a nice shallow depth of field. The bokeh on this lens is nothing to write home about. You're not going to get the same swirly bokeh that you get from a Helios 44-2 58mm f2 lens. There are way too many numbers in that name, but we will be making a video about the Helios 44-2, so if you haven't already, consider subscribing. The lens is sharp when shooting at f3.5 in the center of the frame, but also towards the edges. As you step down the aperture to f4, 5.6 and 8, it does get even sharper in the center of the frame and towards the edges, just like all of the other lenses. The lens does have a vignette. It looks very natural, but if you want to shoot a clean image, you might not like the vignette. For us, this is one of the characteristics of the lens that we really like and embrace. It does not suffer from flaring and it is very controlled, which I think is down to that f3.5 aperture, not like the Helios 58mm or the Jupiter 85mm we have. All those lenses do are flare, but it looks super cool. The focus is super smooth and has about half a turn through from infinity to macro focus, which is less than half a meter. When we are shooting a short film, we use a wireless follow focus and attach a gear ring to the lens. This lens is very small and we have to add gaff tape to expand the diameter of the focus ring so we can attach the gear ring, but we have to do this with all of our vintage lenses. The rest of the construction of this lens is rock solid and is made all out of metal. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this lens is nearly 50 years old and I reckon it could last another 50 years. I might still be using this lens when I'm 80 years old. If I'm going out shooting, taking photographs or travelling, this is the first lens I pick up. One because of the focal length and the other one because of the size. If you have a Canon 50mm 1.8, it is smaller than that, but it is a lot heavier because of the metal construction. You can pick one of these lenses up from around about $30 to $70, which is great if you're on a budget. Let us know in the comments below if you use the Takumar 35mm lens and all of the other vintage lenses that you do use. We're going to be making a video about all of the ones that we have, so if you haven't already, like I said, consider subscribing and remember, achieve it one shot at a time.